Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about transit Saturn conjunct one's natal Mars. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve Saturn, they can be about restrictions, limitations, structure, discipline, responsibilities, and laborious working efforts. Now, when this transit of Saturn conjoins your natal Mars, this could manifest in restrictions, limitations, perhaps gaining structure. It could be about responsibility and laborious working efforts. It could be associated with actions that might be a little bit harder to perform certain actions at this time, or initiative. Could also be where you might feel restricted in doing something. As far as anything with enterprise or beginning a project, maybe there's some other demands that need your attention. Um, it could be something too where you might have difficulty finding the motivation and drive to get something done at this point in time as well, and or you might simply feel more of a responsibility to actually have more motivation to do something at this time. If you have this, say, in the zodiac sign Cancer, well, I mean, Mars in Cancer can have difficulty anyway in starting, initiating something. Remember that Mars is in its fall in Cancer. I have Mars in the zodiac sign in Cancer in my natal chart. So a lot of this could depend on the position of Mars in your chart. And the thing about this is, also to remember that Mars is associated with our energy and vitality. Um, the ascendant and sun can play a role in our energy and vitality, but Mars can as well. It might be a time where you might, sometimes this may manifest in disciplined energy. It could be also where you might have some limitations in this as well. Remember that when you have conjunctions in astrology, they can be neutral. You could have some good and bad aspects in it. Sometimes it might manifest in good, where the energy is positive. Sometimes it may be negative. The thing about this too is that this might be a time where, I mean, even if you have, I mean, let's say, I mean, Mars is connected with sex drive. And the thing about it is you might feel that your libido and sex urge may be more limited at this time, more so than usual. Uh, it could be, uh, again, going back to the energy and vitality being limited. Let's say you have this in Taurus. Even if you have, you know, Mars in Taurus can have much latent energy, but that might even be limited at this time when you have this transit. It could also be a time where you might, you know, there might be some frustration because you might have to curtail your anger a little bit if you're a person that's very vocal when you're, you know, upset about something. This could be a time where you may not be able to express it quite as easily as you had previously. It could also be about responsibility and maybe anger that might have been unleashed. You might be, whether, I mean, some isolated cases, it could be some kind of, you know, fine, or it could be some jail, you know, punishment or incarceration. Uh, it could be a situation too where, when you look at this, Saturn is also about authority, and Mars could be connected with leadership. So on a positive end, this transit um, could be where you may be able to attain a position of authority and leadership, but it might also inhibit it to some degree if you're in, you know, like a situation at your job where you have, you know, some managerial status, but you have other people over you. It could be a time where they're letting you know, however, that you can't, there's certain things that you're not going to be able to do, whether it might be instructing other employees. You might feel that you're not being able to use your management position to its full potential the way you feel you need it to be done. I had a friend of mine, and I don't know what, you know, I forgot it's the natal placements and transits, whatever, but that he had at the time. I mean, I didn't know. I mean, I knew some of his natal placements, but not, you know, transits at the time. The thing about it was, is that he had thought of himself as a glorified stock person because he was a manager at a retail store, but it was a department head. It wasn't an actual man. It wasn't like a store manager position. So he felt he was very limited despite the title. But anyway, so it wouldn't surprise me if he had a transit like this at the time. But anyway, the thing about it is too, it might be there might be more difficulties in expressing assertiveness or aggression, taking the lead in a certain role at this time. But again, some cases it could be a time, I mean, especially if you've been in a subordinate position for some time, where you might have an opportunity to advance because Saturn is connected with the career and it is connected, associated with authority. Now, anatomically speaking, Mars could be associated with the head, the skull, the face, muscles, blood. So it can be a time where there might be some, maybe there's some injury that you've had in one of those areas. It might be time to actually take responsibility for it, to do something about it. It could also be, this could manifest too in laborious efforts with one's muscles. If you're somebody that works out, vigorously, it might actually could be an auspicious period for actually the development in building muscle at this time. Uh, because Saturn, of course, is connected with laborious work and efforts, and muscles are developed, of course, when you are working out. Uh, Another thing too, it could be blood loss at this time, because remember, Saturn is about restriction and limitation. It might be a time where you might be more apprehensive, maybe in expressing your courage at this time, and hesitant about confrontation. Say if you have this in Aquarius, it could be with a friend or an acquaintance. It might be maybe there's an argument over something Aquarius related, such as astrology, or over what your goals and aspirations are, freedom related issues. Now, another way this could manifest, this could be about a father or older person, it could even be a grandparent, might figure more prominently in you standing up for yourself and taking action in areas. Maybe this is the person that might cajole you into doing so. Let's say if this falls in Leo or Scorpio, for example, in the third house. Maybe this manifests, it could be, if you're still in, a few of you that might still be in grade school that see this video, it could be about maybe standing up to a bully, because I would say Leo and Scorpio can both be strongly associated with that energy, and standing up to a bully in early education, which of course early education is associated with the third house. Now, also, too, this could be about chronic debilitations or illnesses, which is Saturn might be causing more of a headache at this time. Mars is about headaches, but I believe they can also be about just literal ones, figurative ones. And it might be something where if you have some chronic, illness or physical debility, it might cause more exasperation and agitation, more so than usual. Say if this falls in Aries, it might actually be a chronic migraine. If it's in Capricorn, maybe there's something with the bones or the joints, the knees, maybe there's something with gallbladder at this time that might be getting to you more so than usual. Maybe it is actually more painful than it had been previously. And again, going back to Saturn being connected with fear, there might be fear connected with confrontations at this time, or combat, or getting into, whether it might be a physical confrontation or one that might be a verbal argument. Say, for example, going back to zodiac sign Leo, if this falls in Leo in your 10th house as an example, maybe it's about fearful about confronting a domineering authority figure or even father, because the 10th house is connected with the dominant parent, which is often the father. Now, at this time, though, on a positive note, this could also manifest in maybe connecting, if you're unattached, with an older person that you might be involved in a sexual relationship with. Could also be a time too where you might You might experience certain difficulty with Mars-related illnesses. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, it could be over Mars-related illnesses. It could be some kind of irritation, something with the head or facial injury or inflammations or some kind of a rash, something with the sexual organs perhaps. Uh, it could be some issues with the blood perhaps, or even the muscles. If it's in Gemini, it might be some muscle like a tricep or bicep, or something with the arm. And also too, the situation also at the time with Saturn related people may be more contentious and acrimonious, even sometimes could even be physically combative. If you have this, let's say this falls, for example, if it falls in the zodiac sign Cancer, of course, naturally it can increase a propensity for older people that are family members, such as a grandparent or the father. Um, in some cases, I have a prominent family member that actually has her Saturn conjunct her natal Mars in the zodiac sign Cancer in her chart, and she's had, there was a lot of friction when her father was alive, between her and that person. So, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.